Alright, let's go! Druid PvP guide, let's do it. What do you do? How are you going to play this wonderful class? I'm going to tell you. Stat priorities, mastery, crit, haste. Make sure you stack mastery. As you can see, I'm at 50% mastery right now in full 700 gear, but I do not have best in slacks. I got some of this off of drops from Ashram. But when you go into Moonkin, you get an extra 15%, so really, while playing PvP, I have 62%, which helps a lot. What Mastery does is increases the maximum bonus damage from Eclipse, which is, if you play Boomkin, you have obviously this bar here, but it looks different because I have a different UI, which is LBUI, by the way, guys. Recommend it a lot. This helped me a lot. But yeah, this is basically your solar phase and lunar phase. So whenever you're capped out on either side, that spell will hit 62% harder. So that's a big difference for Moonkins, because I find myself a lot of the times just doing massive damage, like 200k crits with my Star Surge, that's Star Surge actually, and it just helps out a lot. So moving on to talents, I personally like Displacer Beast. Teleports the druid up to 20 yards forward, activates cat form, and increases movement speed by 50%. I like this because it helps you get escape from CCs or massive bursts. So say you need to get out of somewhere quick, Displacer Beast is always there. To tier 2 talents, use Sarah's Gift. Heals her for 4% of your maximum health. And really I like that because Cenarian Ward is just obsolete. The healing it does not get anywhere close to Sarah's Gift. I actually did a test. Your Sarah's Gift has about 75% more healing in an average arena. So say 5% or a 5-minute arena. And renewable it's just too big of a cooldown to be viable, because in arenas you need heals quick most of the time. Fairy Swarm is viable for this as well. Fairy Swarm is basically, if you're playing like maybe a double rogue or a double feral, you can cast this on them to keep them from re-stealthing. So if you play something like an assassination rogue, and if you can get them off, you're gonna mess up their rotation a lot. But usually I run with Mass Entanglement because for my Root Beam, which we'll get into later, it hits both targets, so my Root Beam becomes twice as effective that way. Tier 4 talents, we have Soul of the Forest, Incarnation Chosen of a Loon, Force of Nature. Now, Force of Nature can be viable, but with 6.2 coming out, they did a little bit of reworking to these talents in Incarnation, which is an improved Moonkin form that increases all your spell damage by an additional 15%. Really, that it comes out, so when you have your solar phase and you're capped out, then you can pop this and you can just do 15% more damage on top of that 62% mastery bonus that I already have. 75 talents, you have Mighty Bash, which I use as just another CC. It's actually really nice because it's usable in all forms. That's really the only one I see viable for this. 90 talents, really nothing stands out. Nature's Vigil is nice for your burst because for 30 seconds all single target healing and damage spells and abilities also heal a nearby friendly target based on the amount done. 20% for heals and 40% for damage spells. So if you guys are, once again, capped out in your mastery and you're hitting for 200k crits, 40% of that is going to heal you. So basically, you can sit there and not die. You can just take damage and take damage while you're doing damage. Because when it comes down to it, you pop your one shot, which is this macro for me, and then you're capped out on your phase or whatever, your solar phase or your lunar phase. Basically, what's going to happen is you're going to do just mad damage, and it doesn't matter how big of a burst they have. If you can get, say, 3 Star Surges off, and then whatever phase you're in, so either Solar, so Wrath, or your Starfire, you're going to do a lot of damage, which in turn is going to heal you, which is very nice. And lastly, level 100 talents. Really, these two, Stellar Flare and Balance of Power, are not viable whatsoever. Euphoria just takes the cake. You feel a deeper connection to the stars, reducing your balance energy cycle time by 50%. Additionally, your lunar and solar empowerments also reduce the cast time of the affected spells by 200%. So this is really huge for, obviously, you can get more off because you're in different phases. So you can keep your dots up easier, which is your Moonfire and Starfire. And It also reduces cast time by 20%, which is huge for Starfire because that is already a 3-second cast, I believe. But since I have Euphoria, it's down to 2.5, which makes a huge difference because it gives people that extra 0.5 seconds to interrupt you, which I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but really when it comes down to it, that is a huge difference. And then moving on to glyphs, really there's only, I don't know if there's any ones you really need. I have Glyph of the Shape Mender. Each time you activate a shapeshift form, you are healed for 5% of your maximum health. This effect cannot occur more often than once every 5 seconds. That was bad. That's just nice for when you're running away. You can pop bear form, get 5% back. 5 seconds later, go cat form again. So basically, go bear form, displacer beast out, and then you'll get 10% of your health back within 5 seconds, which is, once again, doesn't sound like a lot, but it helps. Another one is Glyph of Celestial Alignment, which isn't really required, but it now lasts 60 seconds or until 8 spells have been cast with it active. So that just helps with your burst, really. And then this one's a necessity, Glyph of Barkskin. Reduces the chance you'll be critically hit by 25% while Barkskin is active. Now, Barkskin originally reduces damage, but if you can reduce damage and crit for 12 seconds, it's just that much better. Minor glyphs really doesn't matter. I use Glyph of the Chameleon just because it looks cool, honestly. Untamed Stars, that's just nice to have, honestly. Your Starfall and Sunfall now hit all enemies within 40 yards. It's so nice for farming, you guys won't believe. And then Glyph of Stars, which is what makes my Moonkin form look like this instead of the regular one. I just like it. I think it really goes well with my set, just kind of the blue. But not everybody likes it, so you don't have to do it. And then if we go to our macros, which I'm going to do enter, you get, this was for my Firelands Raider achievement. So you have your one shot. So Incarnation, Chosen of a Loon, which was the, I believe, 60 talent, with Celestial Alignment, Nature's Vigil, and Rejuvenation. And what this is going to do is it casts your one shot and Nature's Vigil, which is going to heal you, but then if you need a little extra healing, it's going to instantly cast Rejuvenation as well. So basically, you're a tank that does a ton of damage to, but keep in mind, it does not last forever. Then we have our Root Beam, and Root Beam is, and you can have it targeted or not, but you cast Mass Entanglement and your Solar Beam, and Solar Beam it's a silence, but you have to be standing within it. So you cast Mass Entanglement to tangle them in. Then if they trinket out, Mass Entanglement will actually respawn. Then your Solar Beam goes on them, so they're silenced for however long the entanglement lasts. So that's a really nice macro if you're trying to save somebody or CC a healer. It's definitely going to help. And that is pretty much it. You're going to want to, for Boomkin, you're going to want to follow all the steps and make sure you know your cycle. That's all you're going to want to do. Make sure you CC Cyclone, one of the most OP things in the game. And I actually forgot about one thing. It's what really makes Moonkin's good. Empowered Moonkin. Single target attacks against you and Moonkin form have a 15% chance to make your next cast damaging spell an instant cast. So basically, it's just another reason to go in Moonkin besides the 15% mastery buff. Now you have a chance to get an instant cast, which is usable with any spell. So boom, Starfire, biggest spell, instant cast. If you proc this during your burst, which you likely will because it is 15% chance and people hit you a lot in arenas, you basically have the capability to one-shot anything. It's ridiculous actually how much damage you can do if you pull it off right. But that is pretty much it, guys. So see you guys later.